Ease into. To gradually introduce a new medication or treatment. Synonym for. Ease into. Gradually introduce, phase in, transition into, acclimate to, adapt to, integrate. Patients are advised to ease into a new medication to minimize side effects. The doctor recommended easing into the new medication by starting with a lower dose. The physical therapist advised easing into the exercise routine to avoid injury. Wear off. To diminish an effect or wear out, often used with the duration of medication. Synonym for. Wear off. Diminish, fade, decrease, subside, dwindle, wane. The pain relief started to wear off after a few hours. The sedative's effects will wear off in about an hour, allowing you to return to normal activities. The effects of the pain medication began to wear off after a few hours, so she took another dose. Hold off on. To delay or postpone a medical procedure or treatment. Synonym for. Hold off on. Postpone, delay, put off, wait on, defer, temporize. The surgeon decided to hold off on scheduling the surgery until further tests could be conducted. Given the patient's unstable condition, the doctor advised holding off on any invasive procedures for now. The doctor decided to hold off on surgery until further tests were conducted. Phase in. To gradually implement a new healthcare program or service. Synonym for. Phase in. Introduce, gradually, implement in stages, roll out, gradually introduce, integrate, ease into. The government announced its intention to phase in the new healthcare reform measures gradually. The hospital plans to phase in the new electronic medical record system. The hospital plans to phase in the new electronic medical record system over the next 6 months. Carry out. To perform or execute a medical procedure or examination. Synonym for. Carry out. Perform, execute, conduct, administer, undertake, fulfill. The medical team will carry out a series of tests to diagnose the condition. The medical team will carry out a series of diagnostic tests to determine the cause of the symptoms. The surgeon is prepared to carry out the emergency procedure as soon as the patient is prepped. Lay off. To discontinue a treatment or medication under medical supervision. Synonym for. Lay off. Discontinue, stop, cease, suspend, halt, abandon. The doctor decided to lay off the medication due to its side effects. The doctor decided to lay off the pain medication gradually to avoid withdrawal symptoms. After several months of treatment, the patient's condition improved, and the doctor recommended laying off the antibiotics. Come down with. To become ill with a specific sickness or condition. Synonym for. Come down with. Contract, develop, catch, acquire, contract, succumb to. He started to come down with a cold after spending the weekend in the cold, rainy weather. I think I'm coming down with a cold. My throat is sore. She came down with the flu after being exposed to sick colleagues at work. Get over. To recover from an illness or overcome its effects. Synonym for get over. Recover from, heal, recuperate, bounce back, overcome, conquer. It took him a couple of weeks to get over the flu completely and return to his normal routine. With proper rest and medication, she managed to get over the stomach virus within a few days. It took her a few days to get over the flu and return to work. Fight off. To resist or defend against an illness or infection. Synonym for fight off. Ward off, repel, resist, combat, defend against, battle. A healthy immune system can help fight off common illnesses. Despite being exposed to the virus, her strong immune system helped her fight off the infection. With plenty of fluids and rest, most people can fight off the common cold within a week. Run a temperature. To have an elevated body temperature, usually due to illness. Synonym for run a temperature. Have a fever, be feverish, have an elevated temperature, run a fever, develop a fever, spike a temperature. He was running a high temperature of 102 degrees Fahrenheit, indicating a possible infection. When children run a temperature above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, it's recommended to monitor them closely and seek medical advice if necessary. The child was running a temperature, so the parents took him to the doctor. Break out in. To suddenly develop a rash or skin condition. Synonym for break out in. Develop, erupt in, burst into, break into, show signs of, exhibit. After eating seafood, she broke out in hives. He broke out in a rash after coming into contact with poison ivy during his hike. After eating shellfish, she broke out in hives, indicating an allergic reaction. Hold on to. To retain or continue experiencing symptoms of an illness. Synonym for hold on to. Retain, keep, maintain, sustain, cling to, grasp. Some patients may hold on to mild symptoms of the flu for several days after the worst has passed. Despite the treatment, she continued to hold on to the symptoms of her chronic condition. Even after the medication, he still held on to a persistent cough. Go down with. To become ill or catch an illness. Synonym for go down with. Fall ill with, contract, come down with, develop, succumb to, be stricken by. Several students went down with the flu after the school outbreak. Many students went down with the norovirus after a classmate brought it to school. He went down with a severe case of pneumonia and had to be hospitalized for treatment. Knock out. To eliminate or overcome an illness or symptom. Synonym for knock out. Eliminate, overcome, defeat, subdue, vanquish, beat. The new antibiotic was effective in knocking out the infection. With proper medication and rest, most people can knock out the flu within a week. The antibiotics knocked out the bacterial infection, bringing relief to the patient. Flare up. To worsen or become more intense, often used for chronic conditions. Synonym for flare up. Worsen, intensify, aggravate, escalate, heighten, exacerbate. His arthritis tends to flare up during colder weather. Stress can trigger a flare-up of symptoms in patients with autoimmune diseases. Her arthritis often flares up during cold, damp weather, causing intense pain. Wear off. To gradually diminish or lose effectiveness, often referring to the effects of medication. Synonym for wear off. Diminish, subside, fade, decrease, weaken, dwindle. The pain relief from the medication began to wear off. The pain reliever wore off after a few hours, so she took another dose as instructed. The sedative's effects will wear off gradually, allowing the patient to wake up naturally. Lay up. To be confined to bed due to illness or injury. Synonym for lay up. Confine, bedridden, incapacitate, immobilize, disable, enfeeble. The surgery will lay him up for a few weeks. After injuring his knee, he was laid up in bed for a week, unable to walk without pain. The flu laid her up for several days, leaving her too weak to even get out of bed. Tough it out. To endure or persevere through an illness or difficult situation. Synonym for tough it out. Endure, persevere, bear, weather, brave, suffer through. Even though she was feeling unwell, she decided to tough it out and go to work. Despite feeling under the weather, she decided to tough it out and go to work. He toughed it out through the pain, refusing to let it interfere with his daily activities. Hold up. To remain in good health or withstand illness. Synonym for hold up. Maintain, endure, sustain, withstand, continue, persist. Despite the stressful situation, she managed to hold up well. Despite the stress of the situation, his health held up remarkably well throughout the ordeal. Her immune system held up well against the virus, and she recovered quickly. Take a turn for the worse. To deteriorate or become more serious. Synonym for take a turn for the worse. Deteriorate, decline, worsen, go downhill, degenerate, plummet. After initially showing signs of improvement, the patient suddenly took a turn for the worse. The flu symptoms took a turn for the worse overnight, prompting a visit to the emergency room. Unfortunately, the patient took a turn for the worse overnight. Sweat out. To undergo a period of intense effort or treatment to recover from illness. Synonym for sweat out. Endure, undergo, weather, bear, tolerate, suffer. He decided to sweat out the fever by staying in bed and drinking fluids. The athlete decided to sweat out the illness by spending extra time in the sauna to speed up recovery. After catching the flu, she spent days in bed, sweating out the fever and chills. Bounce back. To recover quickly from an illness or setback. Synonym for bounce back. Recover, rebound, rally, regain strength, resurge, revive. After losing her job, she took some time to regroup and bounce back by starting her own business. With proper rest and medication, she was able to bounce back from the flu. Despite the severity of the injury, the player managed to bounce back and return to the field stronger than before. Fade away. To gradually diminish or disappear, often used for symptoms. Synonym for fade away. Diminish, disappear, vanish, subside, evaporate, dwindle. With proper rest and hydration, the headache started to fade away by the evening. As the medication took effect, the symptoms of the virus began to fade away gradually. The pain began to fade away after taking the prescribed medication. Fight through. To endure and overcome the challenges of an illness. Synonym for fight through. Overcome, endure, conquer, prevail, master, triumph over. Despite feeling weak, she was determined to fight through the illness and attend her sister's wedding. With the support of his family and friends, he managed to fight through the pain of chemotherapy and emerge stronger than ever. The athlete fought through a bout of illness to compete in the championship. Come around. To recover or regain consciousness after being ill or unconscious. Synonym for come around. Recover consciousness, wake up, regain consciousness, awaken, stir, arouse. After fainting, it took a few minutes for her to come around. The patient was in a coma for several days before finally coming around and recognizing his family members. After fainting at the party, it took him a few minutes to come around and regain consciousness. See off. To recover from or overcome an illness and bid it farewell. Synonym for see off. Bid farewell to, send off, say goodbye to, farewell, escort, part with. With proper treatment and rest, she managed to see off the flu within a week. The antibiotics helped him to see off the bacterial infection without any complications. With proper treatment, she was able to see off the flu and return to work. Carry out. To conduct or perform a medical procedure, experiment, or study. Synonym for carry out. Conduct, execute, perform, undertake, implement, fulfill. The surgeon was scheduled to carry out a complex heart bypass surgery the following morning. Researchers carried out a study to investigate the long-term effects of the new medication on patients with diabetes. The researchers carried out a clinical trial to test the effectiveness of the new drug. Rule out. To eliminate or exclude a possibility or hypothesis from consideration. Synonym for rule out. Exclude, eliminate, dismiss, disregard, remove from consideration, invalidate. The specialist ruled out the possibility of food allergies as the cause of the patient's symptoms. After conducting several tests, the doctor was able to rule out any serious underlying medical conditions. The doctor ruled out pneumonia after conducting chest x-rays. Draw up. To create or prepare a plan, report, or document, often in the context of medical research. Synonym for draw up. Create, prepare, draft, formulate, compose, write up. The scientists drew up a detailed protocol for the experiment. The committee drew up a report summarizing the findings of the study on the effectiveness of the vaccine. The research team drew up a detailed plan for the clinical trial, outlining the inclusion and exclusion criteria. Phase in. To introduce or implement something gradually or in stages. Synonym for phase in. Introduce gradually, implement in stages, roll out, gradually introduce, bring in, ease in. The government announced plans to phase in the new healthcare reforms gradually to allow for adjustments and feedback from stakeholders. The hospital phased in the new electronic medical record system over several months. The hospital decided to phase in the new electronic medical record system over the next 6 months to minimize disruption to patient care. Bring in. To introduce or involve someone or something new, often in the context of medical treatment or technology. Synonym for bring in. Introduce, incorporate, integrate, implement, add, include. The clinic brought in state-of-the-art equipment to improve the accuracy of diagnostic tests. The hospital brought in specialists from abroad to perform the surgery. The hospital decided to bring in a team of specialists to assist with the diagnosis and treatment of rare diseases. Set up. To establish or arrange something, such as a laboratory or research project. Synonym for set up. Establish, arrange, organize, initiate, form, put in place. The research team set up a laboratory to conduct experiments on the effects of different medications on cancer cells. The university set up a new department dedicated to researching innovative treatments for neurodegenerative diseases. The university set up a new research center dedicated to medical science. Fill out. To complete a form or document with required information, often used in medical contexts. Synonym for fill out. Complete, fill in, populate, supply, answer, provide. Patients were asked to fill out a medical history form before seeing the doctor. Participants were asked to fill out a questionnaire to provide feedback on their experience with the new treatment. Patients are required to fill out a medical history form before their first appointment with the doctor. You can find playlists for various languages in the video description. To practice the vocabulary, you are encouraged to explore our various apps. Links to these are also included in the description. If you found something new or interesting, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section and provide your valuable feedback. And please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel for more educational content.